just start, just go and just do it. Because if you wait until like conditions are perfect, you'll be waiting forever because you'll never think the conditions are perfect. You know what I mean? So whatever you've got, just use it and just start, just do it.
Hey, as you can see from the time stamp on this video, bit of a long one. If you're only into my street photography or my B-roll or anything like that there, I get it. You might not want to watch this one. This one's a long, drawn-out, talking one about me, about the channel, about all the experiences and everything. So if you're not into that and you just want to see all the photos and stuff like that there, cool, I get it. Next video is going to have some cinematic B-roll. It's already shot and edited. Could be a good one. But for the rest of you who are slightly more interested in, I feel like a douchebag saying this, me, the channel, everything I've learned, the experiences, just the whole 100 guy, everything. This guy lives quite local to me. He's called Conor. He does a podcast for his university course and he had me on. I'll put Conor's Instagram in the description below. Go check that out. We're just gonna get stuck straight into that. I've brutally cut the start of it. We talked about first cameras, the wedding video stuff and all. I've cut that out just for your sake because I'm guessing you watching this on my YouTube channel are only more interested in the YouTubey stuff. So it just immediately cuts into like the 5th question, which is about the YouTube channel. This is one of those ones, get yourself a cup of tea, continue on with your work, stick this on in the background. It doesn't cut to any kind of cinema, any visuals or whatever, it's just two talking heads. You might be interested, you might have a few laughs, and you never know, you might just get a few little pearls of wisdom from this guy. What a dick.
It's interesting for me, to hear that, stills almost came secondary to like the videography stuff.
Yeah, very much so.
So is that how the YouTube channel started? Was that kind of more at first coming from a wanting to film something rather than to take pictures?
Yeah, totally. It's a bit of a weird explanation as to how the channel came around. So I think it was 2018. Yeah, 2018. I really discovered YouTube as in YouTubers, not just funny cats and list videos and stuff. But it sounds weird saying this now. It was only in 2018 where I discovered that there was people who like made careers on YouTube and full-blown dedicated, and you could make money off of YouTube and all. And another sort of aspect of that is I absolutely adore travel. I just love getting on planes and going to different cities, going anywhere, absolutely anywhere. So naturally, I found travel videos and cinematic, whatever you want to call it, travel vlogs and all that there. So, and I just sort of, again, it was another one of those light bulb moments of, oh, I could maybe do that. And just sort of mulled on that for months and months until I finally just decided to pull the trigger and decided I'm going to go around a bunch of cities and make like weird little street videos of them, so it's kind of like taking street photography, but in video form, if that makes sense, so it's not like, it's not, so my first one was Amsterdam. It's not just, here's a still shot of the Rijksmuseum, here's a still shot of the Anne Frank house, it's, here's a cat down an alleyway, or it's just silly things like that there, and that's actually why the YouTube channel, that's why I started it. It wasn't for any kind of love of taking photos or cameras, or it was actually my love of travel that made me start that, and to differentiate myself, if that's the right word. I sort of thought, right, well, what can I do that's kind of different, because there's a lot of people doing that, and I can't remember who came up with it. It was either, I know I was talking to my buddy Stuart McCrory. He's a photographer. He's a guy I've shot a lot of weddings with, and I remember chatting to him about it like over WhatsApp or something, and I can't remember if it was him or me, but the whole 100 shots idea came up. Well, mine can all be exactly 100 shots. And then the next thing was, and I could also do 100 cities. And then it was, hashtag 100 shots, 100 cities. I could be the 100 guy. And boom, that was it. I had my name. I had my like mission and all that there. And so I thought, yeah, I kind of like that. I'm going to go with that.
For those who maybe don't know, could you explain what the 100 cities or 100 pictures and 100 shots in 100 cities project is?
Yeah, well, it's just, I would love to travel to any 100 cities. Don't care which ones they are. I just love 100. I'd love to just keep constantly traveling, go to 100 cities, and as I say, put together these, I don't want to call them cinematic, but slightly cinematic sort of, not travel videos, but I don't know how you describe them. Street videos of these cities, alternate looks of cities, not your average tourist ones, if you get me. And it's just like this overall goal that I've got. Yeah, and it's just good fun, to be honest.
I mean, so what was the starting point? Like, how do you you kind of sit down, and go to your wife, and go, look, I want to fly off around the world. Um, you leave everyone behind and do this from cities. How does that conversation go?
Yeah, especially when the first city that you want to do is Amsterdam. Leaving your wife to go off for a weekend in Amsterdam by yourself, you can imagine. Now, she was cool with my wife. I mean, we're very supportive of each other, and she knows I'm not too much of an idiot. She knows, like, she could see the passion. It wasn't just some, oh, I'm kind of thinking of doing this. She could see, no, he really definitely means this, and he will see this through, whether or not I see through the 100 cities or whatever. But now my wife's cool. She's very supportive about it all. So and it was never going to be like I'm going to be away every weekend, if you know what I mean. Like, if this takes me the next 40 years of my life, I'm fine with that. If I only do 4 cities a year, that's absolutely fine. I'd rather I would do more, but yeah, it's not really going to be a case of constantly leaving her with the kids.
So why did you start with Amsterdam?
Oh, it's my favorite city in the world. I've been, I don't know, half a dozen times now, and just absolutely love it. It was a no-brainer. I thought I could start with Belfast, obviously, because I live in Bangor. It's an easy one, or maybe Dublin or something, just to maybe spice it up a little bit. But I just thought that's too obvious. I want to start with a bang, go to a proper, not that Belfast or Dublin are proper cool cities, but I want to go to like a real legit big, like, European city, and because I know it really quite well, and I knew a bunch of places where you get some funky shots and all, and yeah, to be any excuse to go to Amsterdam. I love it, absolutely love it.
Well, what's the appeal of Amsterdam? Why should I go?
It's just cool. It's artistic. It's free. I don't know. It's just so cool. I mean, it has a real bad name. Well, not a bad name, but it's got the stereotypical stag do, prostitutes and weed thing. But that is easily avoidable, and you can go and have a great cultural, fun. It's just great. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. The canals and all. I mean, I've been to Venice as well, and no offense to anybody from Venice, it doesn't hold a candle to Amsterdam. And as far as I'm concerned, Amsterdam's the most beautiful city in the world. So, if you want to take, videos and stills of a city, Amsterdam's a bit of a no-brainer, really.
You were talking earlier about how you didn't really want to go to these cities and kind of show off the landmarks. You kind of wanted to show like a cat in a
Yeah.
So was it very much like a conscious decision to avoid the big landmarks like Anne Frank's house?
Yeah, well, I mean, don't get me wrong. If I ever do Paris, I will get a shot of the Eiffel Tower. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't so much I'm going to actively avoid doing these things, but it was more a case of I'm not going to have like a checklist of all of the obvious tourist spots, because it's been done a million times. Like, take it from somebody who spent half his day watching travel vlogs on YouTube. I mean, you may as well just watch the same one 10,000 times over. I just wanted to show a slightly different, slightly more realistic side to all of the cities that I go to.
It is interesting. Like, it is, watching you has made me want to kind of go and do all this stuff. It is really interesting.
That's amazing to hear. I love hearing that.
Could you tell me a little bit about Boston, the Boston trip, and start off with how that trip came about?
After I shot Amsterdam, one of my mates came round to the house, and he was just picking something up or whatever, and he was the first person ever to give me feedback on the 100 guy, and it wasn't for the 100 shots of Amsterdam video. It was, so for those who don't know, I also do like a silly little background vlog, which is just of the process. And he was saying, mate, I love the vlog. Even though the vlog's terrible, the Amsterdam vlog is absolutely shocking, but he was saying, it's hilarious. I love seeing it. He's called Adam, and he's been nothing but supportive the whole way through the whole 100 guy project. And sitting at one of my mates' stag do's one night, and he just leaned in and said, listen, me and Sally, that's his wife, we want to funds we want to pay for one of your trips, like for the flights to one of your trips. And I was thinking, holy crap, is it, free travel? And I was thinking in my head, it'll just be over to, just air quotes, over to like mainland UK or something like that there. Months went past, and I got like a message from him on WhatsApp, and he said, okay, here's your three choices. And the three choices were Reykjavik, drawn a blank. What's the big one in Morocco?
Oh, I can tell you.
Totally drawn a blank. Anyway, Morocco or Boston. And I've been to Boston twice before. Favorite American city. Again, no offense to the other two cities. Marrakesh. There we go. No offense to Reykjavik or Marrakesh, but it was a total no-brainer. Like, I'm definitely going to Boston. So they booked that in for me and all, and I still think about that and still cannot believe the generosity of these two wonderful people to do it. So I was in Boston for, I think, 3 days. 3 nights anyway. It was amazing. Love Boston. Again, that's another place you have to go to. Definitely, if you're ever going to America and you've got like one place to go to, definitely Boston, not New York.
I'll add it to the list. So I mean, for me, like the Boston video is probably actually my favorite, and partly because it didn't all exactly go according to the plan. Can you talk about kind of the problem with Boston?
Well, so when I do these videos, and this goes right back to the first one, I destroy myself, and it might not sound like much. It might not sound like it's too physically taxing. What I do is I wake up early, I eat trash, and I power walk from spot to spot to spot to spot to spot. I walk from miles and miles and miles and miles, like each of the days that I'm doing this. I eat crap. I eat McDonald's. I'll stop and have a couple of beers. I just don't treat my body well at all. Try that over like 3 days, and I'm also climbing up like fire escapes of buildings to try and get cool shots out of windows. So I'm also like, I'm also going vertical. I did that over like the 3 days in Boston and annihilated myself, utterly annihilated myself. It's also mentally draining because I'm trying to do the video and the stills and all as well. I'm not like, when I go and do these videos, I would argue that it's work. I'm not a tourist with a camera. Like, I'm working my ass off. So get to the airport to come home, put the camera away into the suitcase. Don't want to see it again for the whole journey home. Like, I literally, like, that's it, done. And I was almost, the second I did that and put the bag away through what do you call it, security, I didn't feel good. I felt nauseous. I remember messaging my wife just saying, "Oh, I don't feel good. Something's wrong." And basically got on the flight feeling groggy as all hell. And I can't remember if it was even 2 hours in, had the biggest, pretty much an anxiety attack. Felt so sick. Car sick, not just nauseous, but like hot, cold sweats, all that there, just that awfulness. Felt insanely claustrophobic in the wee seat. It was terrible. Really started to panic. Could feel like my hands starting to shake. In hindsight now, I can look back and I know that it was like a real bad circulation problem. I don't know. So I sat and suffered in my seat for, I really can't remember, at least an hour anyway. And eventually had to wake up the guy beside me to say, like, "I'm sorry, man, I gotta get the hell out of here." And he woke up, let me out, and I just went to the back of the plane and basically collapsed on the floor and had a bunch of flight attendants all around me, like putting blankets on me, putting like bottles of hot water in my hand to get the circulation going. They were all like rubbing my hands. Those flight attendants on that Aer Lingus flight were 1,000 out of 10. They were absolutely amazing. They were, that was one of the worst experiences of my life. I can say that without any doubt. Like, it's bad enough going through any kind of illness or sickness like that in general. Do it on a plane when you know you can't get off for like the next 3 hours. It was terrible. Had to get off that flight in a wheelchair and be wheeled through Dublin Airport. And then message my wife, can you get out of work? I'm in a wheelchair. Yeah, that wasn't good. Spent the next like 2 days in bed or whatever. So
But like,
the danger of overworking yourself.
despite all that, you're still like dedicated to traveling and doing it all over again, even knowing that
100%.
you've
I was
wheelchaired
on a
yourself.
flight. I went and did a wee job in Brussels, I think 2 weeks later, maybe. And I got to be honest, I was kind of bricking it when I was getting onto the plane. But no, I mean, I'm aware it was a bit of a one-off. That was an extreme example of me seriously pushing the boundaries of my, my body. I think from now on, I'll try and add a few salads and an extra couple of bottles of water to my diet when I'm doing these, as opposed to fried food and 4 beers or whatever for dinner.
So is it 8 or 9 cities you've done so far?
I'm so annoying. I'm on 9, so I did Glasgow. Was it February or March? I did Glasgow maybe 2 or 3 weeks before COVID really, really got here. Was booked in. We were going on holiday to Amsterdam because obviously. So we were going for a week, and I was going to do Rotterdam was going to be number 10, The Hague or Den Haag was going to be number 11, and we were also meant to be in Rome about 2-3 weeks ago. So I was meant to be up to 12 by now, but I'm still sitting on 9 thanks to COVID.
Oh, that's rough. Like no one's.
Yeah, pretty depressing. I mean, I know a lot of people have it a lot worse out of all of this, so I'm trying not to get too woe is me about it.
Uh-huh.
But next year should be good.
I mean, how do you pick though? Where you're going to go to next? Do you have a list that you're like making your way through, or is it just whatever takes your fancy at the time?
Winging it, totally winging it. To be honest, a lot of the time it's just a case of where's cheap and easy to get to. So far, I've been picking safe cities, as in I know this city and I kind of know where to go and what to do. So I've been working my way through, quite a few sort of UK, Scotland, or UK, Ireland, and then like, I did Brussels. My sister, I know Brussels like the back of my hand. My sister lives there, so that's, to be honest, that's been the main reason why. But that list has run quite dry, so it's going to be very soon that I'm going to be in cities for the first time doing this, and it literally is. See, every day, man. So I was saying earlier, like I spend a lot of time watching like travel videos on YouTube. One day I will just wake up and be like, I'm going to watch 16 travel vlogs about Hamburg. Next day it'll be Tampa in Florida. Next day it'll be Sydney. I just get these spur of the moment. I want to learn about this city thing. So to be honest, that's probably how I'm going to book half my cities. It'll just be Seville. I'm going to go to Seville, and that's it. I'm happy to go anywhere, man. Honestly, I just love travel.
Okay, so when you kind of touch down and get there, do you have a list of things you want to do, of places you want to get to, or is it just walk out of the hotel on wherever my feet take me?
Yeah, so I do a lot of research before I go. Like, I obviously watch all the travel vlogs available and all that there, and I will just look up on Instagram, hashtag whatever city, and sort of go, oh, that spot's cool, that spot's cool, and I do make a little list, like I take a note on my phone and stuff. But to be honest, when you're there, it kind of goes out the window. The big spots, definitely, I definitely hit them. But another thing that I do is I just go on the Google Street View or Google Maps, and I'll literally look at a city from above, and you can kind of tell what streets are kind of like from above, sort of. So you drop the wee man on it, and to be like, a lot of my shots that I've pre-planned have been because I've actually just gone and dropped that Google Street guy and looked on it and go, yeah, that'll be a cool shot. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you get there, and when you look through your camera, it's rubbish, and it was a waste of time. But no, I'd say only about 25% of the shots of each city are because I vaguely pre-planned it, and the other 75% is just I've just been dandering around and just thought, oh, that looks cool. I'll get a shot of that.
So you're 9 down. How has your approach kind of changed from the first time you've done it to how you look at it now? Has it changed?
In regards to seeing shots, no, but physically, yes. I was really dumb in Amsterdam. I brought every lens I owned and a tripod and a fluid head to go onto the tripod because I didn't really know how I was going to shoot these yet, and my back was broken in Amsterdam. Now it's literally like two lenses, and that's it. So my approach to shooting is basically the same, but just physically, I've tried to minimalize everything.
So with the YouTube thing, how is YouTube influenced how you make the videos?
Um, I guess this is going to make me sound kind of prideful or whatever. I don't really like that I'm about to say this, but to be honest, it kind of hasn't. I would argue that I'm kind of just doing my own thing. If I'm honest, if I had to sell them, I would say, are you talking about the travel videos or the whole,
I
all
mean,
the blog stuff?
I mean, generally just travel videos, but the
Yeah.
whole thing.
The travel stuff, if this was like a job interview, I would say they're quite unique. I don't think there's a lot on YouTube quite like my style. I feel like a bit of a douchebag saying that, but but as far as the rest of the channel goes, all of the, hey, I'm going to try and take this kind of photo today. It's definitely the two Australian guys that I mentioned before, Seventh Era and North Borders. I love their format of video, which is basically, hey, today I'm going to go to such and such a place and I'm going to try and take such and such a photo. And here's the process of that happening. I just love that idea. And not that mine's in any way as good as theirs, but that's the general format that I try to take. Here's what I'm going to try and do. Here's the process of me doing it, and here's a very brief summary of me doing it.
Is kind of the goal to try and get this to be kind of a full-time job where you can
Totally.
live off the YouTube thing and go away and fly everywhere?
100%. I mean, yeah. So dream job would be like one of the cities a month with the background vlog to that, and a street photography vlog like in Belfast, and like in the house vlog. So that would be like 4. So imagine like every weekend, if somehow someone was like able to like hire me or sponsor me to do that. Like I want one travel video a month. I want X amount of street videography or street photo vlogs a month. That would be my absolute dream job. I'm not counting on it happening. I mean, I'm happy enough doing wedding videos. I mean, I would love it to be a case of I could basically half the amount of weddings because I was starting to make a bit of an income with the 100K. But I mean, I'm realistic about it. I'm not counting on it ever actually happening. If I get the odd free flight like I did, or free accommodation or whatever, that'll be cool. Or if YouTube pays me £100 one month, that would be amazing. But even still, you're a long way off. You got to have some serious numbers, man. Like I am not even remotely close to anything like that now. But yeah, no, that would be the dream, definitely.
But that's the thing. I was looking at your like 2019 in review video, and you said that year you went from 4 to 80 subscribers, and
Yeah.
now you're at like 970 or something. So there's a lot of growth there. So there is.
It was 100% just yeah. So I think I shot 8 cities, one of which was Boston. Nearly flipping died. Quite a lot of effort, quite a lot of money spent on this over like a year and a half, and you get 80 subscribers from that, and you sort of just feel a bit like, oh man, what do you got to do? Not that I was doing it for the subscribers, I was doing it for the fun. I'm doing it for for me. It's because I wanted it. But then start of 2020, I just woke up one morning and just decided I'm gonna just give this YouTuber thing a go. It looks like it's good fun. Plus, I want to actually learn a bit more about like stills photography mostly, and I'll just document that. So I started doing that, and the first video that's kind of like by my lowly standards kind of took off a little bit was one where I just faced my fear and vlogged through the center of Belfast, full vlogging, GorillaPod, Sony A7S, big fluffy mic on the top, very noticeable. And I just did this vlog through the center in front of everyone, sweating, completely bricking myself, and uploaded it. And it actually started getting considerably more views than these videos that I'd traveled to other countries for and put, tons of effort into it. And I was like, oh, that works. People like that. Okay. So started doing a bit more just, personal stuff like that. And it just took off. I don't know. People sort of started responding to it a lot more. And I really started to properly enjoy doing it. So, yeah. And I think, with COVID and everything, obviously travel just all got totally shut down. So, and all my work got shut down, weddings, they were all gone. I'm about to do my 4th wedding of the year next weekend, as opposed to my usual about 30. So I just threw myself at my YouTube channel just to keep myself sane, just to feel like I was doing something productive. And yeah, no, the response has been great. I'm really, really pleased with it.
I mean, when saying go from like 80 to 900, I mean, you can. I know I can see it going, and I think it's interesting that you talk about, doing like the vlogging stuff, because I mean I really do love the the videography, but it was kind of you and your personality that really I think drives the channel. But it's interesting that the whole YouTube channel, the main theme is kind of traveling. But I'm also from Bangor. I don't know if we'd like mentioned that before.
No, sorry.
It's a little strange sometimes, because like I see bits where you're like driving past, and I know exactly where.
All right.
But your channel's all based around traveling to these places. But I found you through talking about Bangor and kind of local street photography.
Please tell me it wasn't that small town street photography video that I did.
Yeah, I think it's one of your like.
I hate that bit. Oh, anyway, thank you for saying that. But I'm glad that you find me through that. But that's my number one. I hate that. I hate that video. And for some reason, in the last couple of weeks, it's shot from something like 600 views to, I think it's knocking on the door of 5,000 or something like that there. And I did it in January. For some reason, a lot of people are watching that video right now, and it's hands down my least favorite one on my channel.
Why do you hate it?
I did such an awful job with it's the only one ever where I tried to light myself when I was doing the vlogging, and it looks awful. And I used to be extremely negative in all of my videos. I used to just be like, oh, this sucks, I suck, blah, blah, blah. And I've really tried to knock that on the head. I've really tried to just be a lot more optimistic, and just I don't care anymore. But I think in that one in particular, I really was kind of just too negative,
Well, that's interesting, because that was that's the rabbit hole I fell into.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Well, but can you talk about having to do things more locally? Obviously, with COVID, you can't travel places. So, how has that been for the channel, having to do everything, a travel channel at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely not a travel channel anymore. I think this whole weekly vlog thing is very much now what I am and what I do, and it's the travel that from now on will take sort of more of a backseat, which I'm absolutely fine with. I think anyone's YouTube channel should sort of grow and change and morph into different things. So I think even if COVID was gone today and I booked 10 trips for next year, I would still try and do these little goofy weekly vlogs as well, for no other reason than I enjoy them. Sorry, what was your question?
It's just how have you had to adapt to doing everything at home with COVID?
Yeah. I mean, I've tried to do street photography vlogs. There's only so many times that you can shoot Belfast, shoot the same city and Bangor. I've done, I don't know, 3 or 4 little vlogs around Bangor, and as you probably know yourself, there's not a lot going on. There's not a lot to shoot, so you have to come up with little different challenges for yourself. That's kind of one of the themes, the overall things that I do on my channel is I'll come up, and these are genuine. I don't fake these. It's I don't know how to do this. I'm going to give myself the challenge of trying to do this, and no matter what happens, I'll put up the result. And I think that's basically how you could sum up my channel at the minute. It's just it's the journey, it's the the process of it. So yeah, I mean, I think if COVID hadn't have happened, yeah, there would probably be a lot less of that. But I'm obviously not glad that COVID had happened. But one silver lining out of it for me personally is I've discovered, actually, do you know what? Yeah, I kind of like this whole weekly challenge to myself thing that I've kind of got going.
So can you talk more about the filming process? Do you go with two cameras?
Yeah, sometimes I'm just yeah, I do, but I'm very lazy. I'm see the whole like setting up B-roll camera 10 meters that way, hitting record, and then walking away in one direction as if it's totally natural and all that there, and then walking back and getting your camera. I'm so lazy when it comes to that, and I know it shouldn't be because those shots I think really help. I don't know. I think they look good in vlogs, but I'm generally just so lazy and just like put the camera up to my face, talk into it, and then put it down again. And I generally most of the time just work with one camera, and I change lenses every flipping 5 minutes, But I really should utilize the fact that I've got two cameras, to be honest.
Um, are you
I've
ever
actually got
going?
three, no excuses.
Sorry.
I've actually got three of no excuses. So I've still got the Sony A6000. I've got the A7S Mark II, and I've got the A7 Mark III.
You're kitted out.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you sort of feel like, oh, am I seriously going to buy another camera? But then, to be honest, they were all justified. Like I do, at the times of buying them, I have actually, looking back, needed them. So yeah, no, they're good.
You ever broken one?
I've never broken a camera. I've broken a lens in a toilet at a wedding once, which depressed the hell out of me. It was so I used to shoot on a monopod. I kind of don't anymore. I'm just all handheld. But so I went into the cubicle of the of the toilet at the hotel of this wedding, but I didn't have. I don't know if you've ever used a monopod before, but like it's in sections, and each section kind of locks. I had it fully extended, didn't fully lock one of them, leant it up against like the corner. Um, let's just say turned away from it, and then just heard this bang, and it was my camera lying on the ground of a toilet. Uh, thank, Thankfully, it landed lens first, cheap Samyang lens first, and not body first. So it was a 250 pound lens that broke, as opposed to whatever a Sony A7S II costs these days. But yeah, no, that's the height of what anything that have broke, really.
Oh, at least it was just the lens.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, on your travels, have you had any kind of just? This is a very like open question, but any kind of just kind of strange, weird experiences to people give you looks like you're holding a camera?
You can't. I don't know what people's problem is when you go out into the street. And I'm sorry to slag off our home country. I find it more in Belfast, definitely. But when you go out into the street with a camera, I don't know what people's problem is. They just hate you for it. Like the dirty looks, the odd wee comments that you get. I really don't know what it is. I mean, people take photos. Thousands of photos are taken on every street every day on phones. But if you're standing there with like a professional, like a good camera, I don't know what it is. People just take such exception to you, and like the amount of stuff. I was out. You mentioned it earlier. Was that anti-hero video I did? And I was just walking down the street in Belfast, and this guy I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't even shooting, but I was holding a camera, and this guy just let rip on me. Absolutely, he was holding the big stick. He was off his face, like he was drunk, and I don't know what was wrong with him. But it was the camera that he noticed. It was the camera that he, for whatever reason, took offense to me, and every swear word that you could think of came out. He followed us up the road, like threatening us and all, and eventually we just sort of power walked our way away from him, because he was that he was that mangled that it was just a case of walking quickly away from him, and I'm pretty sure he just went on to another victim after that. But yeah, no, I've had a lot of things sort of shouted at, and I've had a lot of dirty looks in my time. You just get used to it, to be honest. You just sort of think, I really don't care what anyone thinks of me after a while.
Is it really just kind of building up kind of a tough skin to it?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually one of the wee shoots that I did in Bangor recently, and somebody really did. I was doing one of my very stereotypical puddle shots, as I always do, and it was outside the Guillemot, if you know it,
Love
down
it.
the bottom of Victoria. Yeah, totally. And again, this guy just staring me out the dirtiest look, like, "What are you doing, taking a photo of a puddle for?" And I don't know, it was just something clicked, and I did actually record myself saying this, but I just didn't bother. I didn't put it in the video. I sort of realized, do you know what? I really don't care what that guy thinks. He's going to go back to his home. I'm going to go back to my home, and I'm going to have a cool photo. Like, who cares, honestly? And especially when you travel. I mean, if you go to some other different country and say, who cares what if you look like an idiot doing these things, or if you're vlogging, with your camera pointed back, you're never going to see these people again. And even if you do, what are they going to say?
It is weird. Like people almost do say it kind of quite confrontational sometimes. The threat of a camera.
Either confrontational or like, hey, let's get involved with this. Like, so if you get like a big pile of drunk people or whatever, it's like, oh, take my photo, and you're just like, no, please go away. It's like, yeah, no, people just, it just attracts people to you, mostly in a negative way, I find.
And again, so how do you, with now you've moved away from the travel stuff because of COVID? How do you come up with ideas and think of what you're gonna shoot? Is there a list of pictures or videos you want to get, or is it just whatever comes to mind?
No, I honestly can't express enough how wung everything is. I think wung is the past tense of wing. Literally, like, one day I will honestly wake up without a single video photo idea for in the future at all, and I'll just be sitting eating my lunch, and something will just pop into my head, and I'll just go, yeah, I'll just do that. Like the other day, today actually, I uploaded a wee video where I just made a silly little DIY music video in my kitchen. That all came about because I was just tinkering on my guitar, accidentally wrote this little tune, thought, oh, I'm going to record this, and then thought, all right, I'm just going to make a video, and it just came out of thin air like that. Yeah, no, they literally just pop out of nowhere. I mean, there's not a lot of thought or planning that goes into any of my videos at all.
So it's been, is it 2 years the channel's been going?
It was summer 2018. Yeah.
So all that kind of, all the time, all the money that's been spent, being sick on planes, exhaustion. Is it, looking back on it, is it all worth it in the end?
Oh, totally. I love it. This is going to sound so egotistical, so cringy, but I watch my videos back all the time, like on a fairly regular basis, because they're memories for me, and they're real. Like, I can't get that across enough on my channel. These are not like fake whatever. Like, so when I watch them back, it's like, oh yeah, remember when that actually did happen? Do you know what I mean? And I got no problem admitting that. I love reliving things like that. Like, I've made documentaries my whole life. I made documentaries about, I used to play Ultimate Frisbee, made documentaries about my Ultimate Frisbee team, my old band that I used to be in. I can't express enough how valuable those memories are. Like looking back and seeing videos of I made like a half-hour documentary about my band that I was in, like, when I was 19. I'm 34 now, and I still have that, and I still watch it probably every year at least. See, having those memories on video, it is invaluable, absolutely invaluable. So I don't mind admitting I love going back and watching those first early 100 guy videos, because they're just great memories. I love it. One of the is it Gary V? Gary V. He's a big big entrepreneur, social media guy. He's huge, and what he always says is, like, don't create, document. Or if you're going to create something, document the process. And I 100% agree with that. See just recording, documenting any kind of process that you're going through, you'll be so glad that you did. It is so invaluable. It's kind of one of my pitches for whenever I'm talking to couples that like wedding fairs and stuff. Whether or not you book me to shoot your wedding video, that doesn't matter. Get a wedding video, 100% get a wedding video. In 20 years' time, you will say that is one of the best decisions we ever made. You you cannot put a price on visual, like on memory, you know. So 100, no, all of this 100 guy, I would say so far 100% totally worth it, if I may say so. I'm really, really happy that I've done it.
So for anyone interested in kind of street photography or videography, what would your advice to them be?
Just go, just do it. Don't think about it. Don't wait. I get the odd little message or whatever, and it'll be like, oh, I just wish I'm going to wait and get such and such a camera, or I'm going to wait until I get such and such a computer so that I can get such and such a editing software. Use your phone, honestly. Just go out with your phone, or if you can spend a couple of £100, get the cheapest entry level, whatever. It does not matter. Just start, just go and just do it. Because if you wait until like conditions are perfect, you'll be waiting forever because you'll never think the conditions are perfect. You know what I mean? So whatever you've got, just use it and just start, just do it.
Well, brilliant. That's kind of the end of my questions. Is there anything you'd want to add? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to get out there?
Well, basically what I just said there, just don't get inside your head too much. Just if you want to do something, don't care what anybody else thinks about the finished product, and just you do it, you enjoy it, and I would say document it.
So if people want to find your social media, where can they get that?
Website is the100guy.com, although it's very much just on the travel side of things, and then my YouTube channel, really I think it's all just one word, the 100 guy, as in 100 guy, and then Instagram I think is the 100 guy with underscores in between the words or whatever. Some guy, have you ever seen the TV show The 100? It's on E4 over here. I actually really like the show. I think it's pretty good. There's the 100 guy on Instagram, and he has it all as one word, and I'm raging because I can't get the 100 guy. It's so annoying. He doesn't even use his account. He doesn't upload it onto it. So I have to be the _100 guy because of him. Flip's sake.
Ugh.
But it's a good show.
Maybe one day when you're rich and famous, you can.
Yeah, I'll buy it off him.
Well, look, thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you. That was good fun. I enjoyed that.